Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha, Govinda Radha, Govinda Radhe. Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranganitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Jnana Shalakya Chakshunadamina Dasya Shigurave Namo. Om Vishnu Bharaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nandinamane Namaste Satsukuni Gauravani Pujane Vishesha Shunyavadi Paschati Deshtarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we start with 4.10. Vidaraga Bhayakrodha Manmaya Mam Upashiraha being freed from attachment, fear, and anger, being fully absorbed in me and taking refuge in me. Many persons in the past became purified by knowledge, and thus they have attained the transcendental love for me. Okay. So Krishna says that understanding the knowledge, okay, just so why should we have jnana, or why are we studying the Shastra? So that we get purified by knowledge. We are getting purified. The more we know Shastra, we know we are spirit soul, we are part and parcel of Krishna, and our real aim is to do devotional service to Krishna. So once we get purified, then we can attain Krishna's transcendental love. So who knows the previous sloka, 4.9? Except Manasvi. Manasvi already knows. Who else knows? Only nobody knows. Yes, Manasvi, you can sing.
Yes, Mataji. Janma karma cha me divyam evam myo vetti tattvataha tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mamiti sorjuna.
Very good. So, Janma Karma Jame Divyam, Krishna's appearance and activities are transcendental. And we should know it in Tattva, in truth. Then, Tyaktva Deham Punarjanma Naidi. After leaving this body, there's no Punarjanma. What will happen? Ma Medi Sojana. You go back to Krishna. So, that's what. So, that's why it is very important to study about Krishna, all the Shastras, because when we know it, then we can go back to Krishna. Okay, so there are two forms of people, like Mayavadis and the devotees. Mayavadis is compared to bubbles in the ocean, and a devotee is compared to a fish. Why? Can anyone guess? Why the devotee is compared to a fish and a Mayavadi to a bubble? Yes, Lakshmi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, it's my guess, like Mayavadis are compared to the bubbles in the ocean, because bubbles, they just, whenever the bubbles arise, they like burst. At times, they keep floating and they burst. They don't have any existence, like with the passage of time, they burst. But whereas the fish, they can swim as much like deeper in the water, but they do not get affected or anything like that. This is my understanding.
Okay. What about Rajeta Mataji? What do you think?
Mataji, the bubbles in the ocean are the false ego. Like the Mayavadis follow their own individual practice of spiritual knowledge, whereas the devotee as a fish, they know the concept of the soul, and they connect with Krishna, whereas Mayavadis, they don't connect with Krishna. They believe in the impersonal form of Godhead, whereas the fish believes in the personal form of Godhead.
Yes. Okay, so that means Krishna's form. So the Mayavadis, they want to become one with the Lord. No. So as Mataji said, yes, the bubbles. What the bubbles does is, it doesn't have its own existence. It merges into the ocean. No, after it burst, it merged. So that's what even Mayavadis want, no, to merge into the Brahman existence. What mukti is it called? Put in the chat. The Brahman merging into the Brahman is called as what mukti. So they want to merge in the Brahman effulgence. And after some time, you can see in the ocean, again the bubbles are recreated. Aruhe krichena param padam tat padanti yada. They will fall down definitely because they didn't reach the final destination. And vimuktamanina, they think they have liberated, but they are not. Yes, merging into the brahmacharya is called what type of mukti? There are 5 types of mukti. I want that name. Okay, so that's how the Mayavadis are. Yeah, very good. Sayujya mukti, right? Good. So, but devotees are like a fish because devotee has an individuality, right? We don't merge with the Lord. We get Sarupya, Salokya, Samipya, all other muktis where we are different, Krishna is different. And what does a fish do? The small fishes, they they swim in the surface. So they didn't actually get the rasa. But then as you advance in Krishna consciousness, as the fish grows and grows and become a bigger fish or a shark, a whale, they just dive into the ocean. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. The Bhakti Rasa is like ocean, and they dive into the ocean of devotional service to get that rasa, the mellows. And then the fishes, they enjoy the pebbles and all these valuable gems in the ocean. So similarly, a devotee also likes to be like that, no? So that's why the comparison has been like that. And Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu also says about the 9 stages of devotional service. Ado Shraddha Tada Sadhu Sangha Atha Vachana Kriya Tato Anartha Nivrittasya Tato Nishta Ruchistataha Adasa Shakti Asakti Ata Asakti Tato Bhavas Tata Prema Vyudanchati Sadakana Ayam Prena Radhur Bhave Bhave Trama. So what are the 9 steps? Shraddha. What is Shraddha? Okay, now we'll have a brainstorming. So just everyone can unmute and just quickly say, what is Shraddha?
Shraddha means belief.
Belief. Faith.
Having faith.
Faith. So everyone should have little faith to come to Krishna consciousness. Next is Sadhu Sangha.
Association with the
Association.
devotee.
Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastra, Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhi. Yes, association. Association is very important. Like we all meet every Tuesday and then we associate, right? That's important. And Bhajana Kriya?
Doing
The chanting of the holy name, hearing Bhagavatam and also. So there also Guru Ashraya will come. You take other Guru Ashraya, you take shelter of a Guru. Anartha Nivritti? What is Anartha Nivritti?
Release from
Asat Sangha.
Overcoming your
Unwanted.
Anartha, Mataji.
Get out of Asat Sangha.
Some are having some background noise. Please tell everyone to be quiet at home. And otherwise, you sit in a place where there's no disturbance. Yes, all the anarthas gets washed away. What are the anarthas we have?
Calm, low.
Kama,
Mataji.
Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada.
Lust, anger, greed, and thought.
Yeah, what is Nishta?
Firm faith.
Steadiness in bhakti without confusion.
Yeah, it's steadiness, or you become fixed in Krishna consciousness. Very good. That's called Nishta. Nama Nishta Prabhu is a temple president. That means he has so much fixedness in the Nama or the holy name. So that's like Nishta means you get fixed, you don't get deviated. And then Ruchi?
Taste.
Taste.
Taste for Lord.
Asakti?
He
Attachment. Desire for
Opposite
the
is Virakti. Attachment is Asakti, detachment is Virakti. So Asakti and Virakti. Bhava?
emotion behind emotion of
The emotions. So what are the different bhavas you can have with the Lord?
rasa, vatsalya rasa, madhurya rasa.
Yes, these are all different bhav with which we approach Krishna. And then prema?
Love.
We all
Love
love
of Krishna.
Love. So that's
You
the
love-
highest. Prema pumarto mahan. So the prema is the highest stage. This is also a Bhakti Shastri question. The 9 stages: Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Nivritti, Nishta, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhava, Prema. Okay. So once you get prema, that's the highest. So that's the 9 stages in Bhakti. Then you have 9 types of Bhakti. That is, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, Smaranam Pada Sevanam, Archanam Mandanam, Dasyam Sakyamatmane Vedanam, Iti Pumsar Pita Vishnu Bhaktishan, Navalakshanam, Priyade Bhagavati, Adhatanmani, Adhidamuttamam. So Prahlad Maharaj says in the 7th canto that these are the 9 types of devotional services. Now, who just by hearing got perfection? Who was that? Just by Shravanam.
Prahlad Maharaj.
Prahlad Maharaj.
Parikshit Maharaj.
Parikshit Maharaj. Prahlad will come somewhere way else. But Prahlad was famous for something else. Kirtanam?
Mirabai.
Meera.
Anybody else? Who
Surdas.
else? Huh?
Surdas. Surdas.
Yes, someone else?
Smara was Prahlad Maharaj. Padasevanam is Lakshmi Devi.
No, I mean Kirtanam only.
Kirtanam was Mirabai or Surdas, and even Prahlad had also chanted the holy names of
Who else?
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Haridas Thakur.
Mataji,
Haridas
Shukdev
Thakur.
Goswami. Shukdev Goswami.
Yeah, I was waiting for that answer. Shukadev Goswami. Yes, Haridas Thakur, all that examples are right. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself. These are all devotees. Smaranam? Remembering the
Ambarish Maharaj.
Ambarish did all the 9.
Prahlad Maharaj.
Prahlad. Smaran was Prahlad. Padasevanam?
Lakshmi Devi.
Lakshmi Mataji.
Chanam? Let me see who gets it. It's little difficult. Prithu Maharaj. Prithu. That's in the fourth conduction. Mandanam?
Dhruv Maharaj.
Dhruva Maharaj.
Dhruva Maharaj.
Dhruva comes in the 4 kinds of Kanishta Adhikaris. Like he was going for Artharthi. He was an Artharthi, Artharthi, Jnani, Jnyasu, in that Artharthi. Later on, he became a pure devotee. But
Can we Kannada model Karma? Kunti Maharani.
Mataji, Akrura.
Gajendra.
Akrura. Gajendra was distressed. Gajendra comes in the Kanishta Adhikaris. These are all Uttama Adhikaris. So yes, this one, Akrura. Mandanam. Dasyam?
Hanuman.
Hanuman. Sakyam?
Arjuna.
Arjuna.
Atmanivedan?
Sudama.
Bali Maharaj.
Sudama.
Sudama.
Who?
Sudama.
Sudama.
Who else? Bali Maharaj. All the 9 was done by Ambarish Maharaj. Okay. So it is said even one of the devotion service, if you do it perfectly, we can attain liberation. This sloka is also very important. Ye yadamam prapatyante tamsta deva bachameham namavatmanu vartante manishya partha sarvashaha. All as all surrendered unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respect, O son of Pritha. So how you approach Krishna, Krishna respects it the same way, right? So which rasa can you see in the first one? Put in the chat. The first picture. What is the rasa there? Yes. Yeah, that's Valsalya Ras. Very good. So Krishna's Yashodamaya saw Krishna as a small baby. When I say put in the chat, you don't have to raise your digital hand. I'll take only from the chat. Okay, don't raise your hand. So put in the chat, right? Type in the chat. So yeah, so Yashodamaya saw Krishna as the baby. Krishna also reciprocate like the son. No, that's Valsalya Ras. What about this second and third picture, the cows? That's in which rasa? Put in the chat. Not Dasya. Cows are not Dasya. It's Shanta. Very good. Shantaras. Okay. Cows are in Shantarasa with Krishna. Krishna also is with the same one. Who is this? Just put in the chat. Whom did Krishna has with his Sudarshan Chakra had to take his life? Shishupal, right? He's Jaya Vijaya. He's a devotee, but still Shishupal was envious of Krishna, and Krishna was finally Krishna had to take his life. And the fruit vendor, she gave everything to Krishna, and Krishna, you can see, gave all the pebbles and diamonds and jewels to her. And what about Balram? Which rasa? Sakyaras. What else? Balram. Shantaras. Valsalya. Then Dasya. What else? Only this much? Yeah, all 5 rasas. Very good. all 5 rasas, right? So Balram serves Krishna in all the 5 rasas. And as a Manjari, he also has Ananga Manjari serves Krishna and Madhurya Ras. So Balram is the only one who serves Krishna in all the 5 rasas. So in spiritual world, Krishna reciprocates to his pure devotees. Just as the devotee wants him, he can become a son, he can become a master, friend, lover, that is in the spiritual world. In material world, how we approach Krishna, like if you want material things from Krishna, Krishna gives you material things, right? The Artho Arthati Jnani Jitnasu. What is the sloka, Manasi? Chaturvidha bhajante mam.
Chaturvidha bhajanti mai jana sukriti norjuna arto jichnya surartharthi jnani cha bharatarshabha.
Very good. So these are the 4 types of people who. So if you want knowledge from Krishna, Krishna gives you knowledge. If you want money, Krishna gives money, like that. Mukti bhukti siddhi kami sakalaya shanda Krishna bhakta nishkama ativa shanda. Mukti bhukti siddhi. So if you want mukti, liberation, siddhi, all the ashta siddhis, or bhukti means material things, Krishna gives. But then Krishna won't give himself to you, right? But then Krishna Bhakta Nishkama Ativa Shanta. He is Nishkama. He doesn't have any other desire. So he is very Shanta, and Krishna gives himself to him. Anyabhilashita Shunyam Jnana Karmadana Kutam Anupulene Krishna Shilna Bhakti Uttama. So how should be our bhakti? Just to please Krishna. Our chanting, our devotional service should be to please Krishna. Nothing else. Don't have any material desires. Anyabhilashita Shunyam. That is highest bhakti. Now we are not in that bhakti because we are not doing Shuddha Bhakti. We are not chanting Shuddhanam. We are mixed. Jnana mixed or Jnana Shuddha Bhakti or like that. Karma Shuddha Bhakti. But when we reach that stage, so in material world, however people approach Krishna to like however they worship Krishna, Krishna reciprocates the same way. But a devotee doesn't ask anything from Krishna. He just wants devotional service. Krishna gives that. Right? And also, if you want anything, go to Krishna. Why are you going to someone else? It is said, Akama sarva kamo va moksha kama udarati tivrena bhakti yogena yajete purusham taram. Akama is from Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd canto, 3rd chapter, 7th sloka. Akama means no desires. If you have no desires, like the renounced people, sannyasi people, akama, no desires. Sarva kamova, like a karmi, he have lot of desires. Moksha kama, like a yogi. You want moksha, then tivrena bhakti yogena, you have to do bhakti to yajete purusham param, to Krishna. If a child wants something, a child goes to the parents. The child can't go to neighbor's house and asks for something. No, Papa, I want that, I want this. But the parents will provide. So you want anything, go to Krishna. Why are you going to someone else? That's in rasas we saw there are 12 rasas, 5 primary and 7 secondary. And now that's why that sloka leads to the next sloka. Why we have to worship Anya Devadas, right? Kangshanta karmanam siddhim yajanta ihadevada shipram dhimanishi loke siddhir bhavati karmacha. But why do they go for material benefits? No, but it's temporary, but then easily available. Men in this world desire success in fruitive activities, and therefore they worship demigods. Quickly, of course, men get results from fruitive work in this world. Right? So people worship Devatas, desiring success in the material world, and then that's a karmic path, right? So they go to heaven. That's why they want to go to heaven, as quickly they give. But Supreme God is one, Krishna. Ekala Ishvara Krishna Arasabhritya. And the Devatas are part and parcel of Krishna actually. Right? You water the root of the tree, the whole tree gets nourished. So if any demigod has to give you some blessings, it has to be sanctioned by Krishna. If your boss in the company has to sanction your leave letter, right? The supervisor or the someone who's above you might give you, the senior might give you the leave letter, leave sanction, but then it's actually sanctioned from the boss. No, it's coming through that. So since the demigods are also part and parcel of Krishna, they are servants of Krishna, right? They manage this material world, and they are those who want temporary results. They go to the quick results for material enjoyment. They worship the Devatas. Right? They are Krishna's servants actually. So the boon are material and temporary. So we should not go behind that because it's very temporary. But what is the actual prayer we should pray to the demigods? If you go to Lord Shiva's temple, you go to Ganesh temple, what do you actually pray for, Kanjan Mataji?
Mataji, like you said, when we go to Lord Shiva, he's a Vaishnava. So
Yeah.
we should pray always that we should devote more to Krishna, and our devotion service and path should be clear. So because they are all devotees of Lord Krishna, so they can help, and actually they are elevated from us, so they can help us towards our devotion service towards Krishna.
Yes. So we can ask like Vaishnavanam Yada Shambhu, right? Lord Shiva is one of the greatest Vaishnava. In Bhagavad it says, Nimnaganam Yada Ganga Devanam Achyuto Yata Vaishnavanam Yada Shambhu Purananam Itam Tatam. Right? So out of all the Puranas, Bhagavatam is the greatest. And Lord Shiva is the greatest Vaishnava. Right? We can ask for Krishna Bhakti. And for Ganesha, you can ask, please take away all the obstacles in my path of devotional service. We can pray like that. So it is said that once Srila Prabhupada was going for a morning walk, and there was a Shiva temple. So Prabhupada paid his obeisances and went. And there was one disciple who was not minding. He's like, I worship Krishna. I don't have to worship Shiva. So Prabhupada said, you don't have to worship, but you should not disrespect. You have to pay obeisance because he's the greatest Vaishnava. And it is said, Aradhananam Sarvesham Vishnu Aradhanam Param Tasmat Paradaram Devi Tadiyana Samarchini. Right? Out of all the worship, Vishnu worship is the highest. But then more than that is worshipping is devotee. So Lord Shiva is the greatest devotee of Lord. So you should not neglect him. So you should pay respect. But worshipping, you worship Krishna. So demigods are not different forms of God, but they are God's different part and parcel. God is one, and the part and parcel are many. Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam. God is one. Ishvara Parama Krishna. The Lord is worshipped by the demigods, right? Chaturbukha Brahma Bole, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, and Panchamukha Shiva Bole Ram Ram Hare Hare. So they are also worshipping. Shiva is also worshipping the Sankarshan form of the Lord. Okay, so this is another important sloka. Chaturvarnyam maya srishtam guna karma vibhagashaha tasya kartaram apimam vidi akarkaram avyayam. So according to the three modes of material nature and the work associated with them, the four divisions of human society are created by the Lord. Although he is the creator of the system, you should know that he is the non-doer and unchangeable. Krishna created, you can see, what are the four varnas and four ashramas? Yeah, demigods are servants of Krishna. Yes, Hemu Mataji, what is there any confusion? They are actually serving the Lord. They are in this material world itself, right? In Brahma Loka and all. So they are serving the Lord actually. Is there any confusion? Krishna says, Aham Adirhi Devana. He is the source of all demigods, right? Servants of Krishna in the sense, see, you have a government and you have like finance minister, educational minister, sports ministers. Why? The main president or prime minister, he can manage everything. You know? Why he want different wings to manage or different ministers to manage? And in every state he want different. Why he want all that? So that everything can be managed the right way. Similarly, Krishna gives one department like annihilation to Lord Shiva, then creation to Lord Brahma, then like that. No, Durga for material nature in charge. So these are all agents of Krishna. Okay, or they are part and parcel of Krishna. So they are also servants of Krishna, right? And they are serving the Lord. They are also devotees. And they are also nice devotees. But they are giving all material things to. Okay. So I was asking some question. What was I asking? Yeah, the four varnas and four ashramas. What are the four varnas? Kanchan Mataji?
Mataji, four varnas are Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, and ashrams are Brahmachari, Grahastha, Vanprastha, and Sannyas.
Yes. So can I ask one more question? So the Brahmanas compared to which part of Krishna? You know that? Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Shudras. Yes, Hemu Mataji?
It is head Mataji.
Yeah,
Brahmanas,
Brahmanas are the head. Very good. Kshatriyas?
Kshatriyas are the chest, the main body. The legs are the thighs.
No. Kshatriyas, what are the Kshatriyas? Lakshmi Mataji?
The Mataji, the Kshatriyas are the arms.
Yeah, the
arms.
hands. Because hands are the one who actually work and for fighting, and also Brahmanas are the head because they learn the Vedas. They're very intelligent class of people. And the hands of the Lord are the Kshatriyas. What about Vaishyas?
They are the belly of the Lord.
Belly of the Lord. And the Shudras?
They are the legs of the Lord, Mataji.
Legs of the Lord. So put in the chat, can you live without a head? Can someone live without a head? No, right? But can you live without a hand or a leg? Can you live without a hand or leg? Yeah. Sometimes in an accident, the hand is broken, or sometimes there is so much of gangrene or some diabetic ulcers, and then it's been cut, or cancer spreading and it's cut. And people live without hands and legs, but then you can't live without head, except Daksha, who lived with a goat's head, right? So like that. So yeah, attendance form will be sent only once, and please fill it. It won't be shared later. Okay. So yes, so these are all different part of Krishna's body itself. And why Krishna created? So that everyone worship the Lord. And there is something called Devi Varnashrama, where based on it is a Vaishnava or a devotee doesn't come under all these categories, right? That if he's like Haridas Thakur was considered as the greatest Vaishnava, greatest like a Brahmana, and Advaita Acharya on the Shraddha day was feeding Haridas Thakur and said, feeding Haridas Thakur is equal to feeding 10 millions of Brahmanas. So Haridas Thakur is born in an abominant family, but still, because he's a Vaishnava, he's above, he's kept above. So guna and karma, right? Just because you are a son of a high court judge doesn't make you a high court judge. You have to go through the process. You have to do LLB, LLM, and then the test and all that. No, you have to get trained. So similarly, just be born in a particular varna doesn't mean you are a particular varna, and doesn't affect Krishna. Krishna was born the son of Vasudeva, who's a Kshatriya. Doesn't mean Krishna is a Kshatriya. Then later on, Nanda Baba was a Vaishya, and Krishna was raising the cows. Doesn't make Krishna a Vaishya. Right? It's because of the modes of nature. Krishna is above the three modes. Right? He's transcendental. In spite of us creating the 4 divisions of human society, Lord Krishna does not belong to these divisions because he's not the conditioned soul, right? Human society is similar to any other animal society, but to elevate men from the animal status, the above mentioned divisions are created by Krishna. Namam karmani limpanti name karma phale spriha iti mayo abhijanati karma pir na sabhatyade. There's no work that affects me, nor do I aspire for the fruits of action. One who understands this truth about me also does not become entangled in the fruitive reactions of work. So there's nothing for Krishna to do. Natasta karyam karanam cha vidyate. Right? But what does that mean? Then how do he do creation? How does Krishna do creation? Yes? How does creation happen? Does anyone know? It's given the second canto of Bhagavad. Prafula Mataji can unmute.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes.
By his glance only.
Yeah, by his glance. He could just by glance Krishna could create. And also Karnadasha Vishnu, he is lying on the Karnadasha ocean, and through his sweat pores, the different universes are created. By glance, Krishna just have to glance. You don't have to do it. Yeah, Krishna has to glance in the Prakriti, right? The material nature. And so that means only God is the one who doesn't have to do, because he's the supreme proprietor, supreme enjoyer, right? But he can just manage. The living entity is responsible for his own acts. The Lord only gives him facility through the agency of material nature. Anyone who is fully conversant with the intricacies of law of karma, of fruitive activity, does not become affected by the results of the activities. Person who understands the transcendental nature of the Lord is an experienced man in Krishna consciousness, never subject to the law of karma. Evan jnata kritam karma purvair api mokshubhi kuru karmaiva tasmatvam purva karam kritam. All the liberated souls in ancient times acted with this understanding of my transcendental nature. Therefore, you should perform your duty following in their footsteps. So we have to follow the footsteps of great souls. Mahajanena Gadasya Patta. So okay. 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 So we need to follow the footsteps. Those who are full of dirty things can take the line of Krishna consciousness for gradual cleansing process. Okay, by following the regulative instincts. Those are already cleansed of the impurities can continue to act in the same Krishna consciousness so that others may follow our examples. Okay, and thereby get benefited. So Krishna is not attached to any work, and then when we take up Krishna consciousness, we also get purified. Now, next is understanding karma on the platform of jnana. Kim karma kim akarmeti kavayo api atra mohita tatte karma pratakshami yajnatva mokshase ashupat. Even the intelligent are bewildered in determining what is action, what is inaction. Now, I shall explain to you what action is, and knowing which you shall be liberated from all misfortune. So, what is action? What is the term for action? Put in the chat. What do you mean by action? Yes, karma, right? Or fruitive activities. Very good. The real term is karma or fruitive activities. That is action. And what about inaction? What is inaction? What do you mean by inaction? Yes. Yeah, a karma, inaction comes in working in Krishna consciousness. It's akarma, okay? Akarma. It doesn't mean not doing anything. Yes, activity in Krishna consciousness is akarma. Okay? Karmano hi api bodhavyam chapi karmanaha akarmanascha bodhavyam gahana karmano gatihi. The intricacies of action are very hard to understand. Therefore, one should know properly what action is. That is karma, that is fruitive activities. What is forbidden action called? Put in the chat, what is forbidden action? That is which is not given in the Shastra. Vikarma, very good. So vikarma means that is forbidden action. And inaction is akarma or devotional service. Don't get confused. Action means karma or fruitive activities. There is reaction for it. And forbidden action is vikarma, which is not given in the Shastra. And inaction is akarma. There is no reaction. So understand karma, vikarma, akarma. Karma means actions that are performed in terms of prescribed duties mentioned in the scriptures. There is punya, all reactions coming. Vikarma means action that is performed with misusing of one's freedom. That means which is not given in the Shastra. That's vikarma, like the demons do. Akarma means actions which will free you from the cycle of birth and death. That is devotional service or Krishna consciousness activities. That is akarma. Okay, so law of nature is every action has equal and opposite reaction. So for a vikarmi, they don't follow the Vedas. They risk of being degraded to lower species. They're not appreciated by saintly people, and they defeat the purpose of life. What about karmis? They follow the Vedas. They're very pious, and they go to heavenly planets, Swarga. They all get the bodies of the demigod, and eventually they come to Martyaloka, Shine Punya Martyaloka Vishanti. What about a devotee, a karmi? They have come to a platform of devotional service to Krishna. And so they know the fruitive activities binds them and means rebirth. So they do akarma. You got it? So these are the different examples. Vikarma, karmis, and akarmis. So this should be clear. Okay. Now, after this slide, we'll have a breakout room. Karmani akarma ya pashyat akarmani cha karmaya sabuddhiman manishyeshu sayukta Krishna karma krit. One who sees inaction in action and action in inaction is intelligent among men. and he is in the transcendental position, although engaging in all sorts of activities. Now that's the breakout room. You need to discuss what you go to the purport, you go read the purport, okay, 4.18, just read it, and then you discuss what is inaction in action and what is action in inaction. Once you read, you'll come to know. First, you know the definition, and then you think, okay, and you discuss. It's in a breakout room, honestly. What happened?
No, Mataji, from which purport, Mataji?
18, sorry, 4.18. See? Action in an action, inaction in action, okay? 4.18. Yes, Jyoti Mataji?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Danvat Pranam. Mataji, according to me, action in inaction and
No. This is breakout room. Why you don't tell now? Go to a breakout room, discuss with your other devotees, and then come back and give the answer after 10 minutes. Go to breakout room. Okay, so others are back, but room number 1 is not back. We're having a big discussion, I think. Okay, so 3, 4, and 2 back. Number 1 has to come back. Oh, Supriya Mataji, you didn't get connected. Oh, okay, no problem. Let's see. Okay, so all are back. So room number 1, they are still there. And they're back. So let's start with room number 1 itself. We had a big discussion and the maximum number of people in room number 1. Deepali Mataji, Hebu Mataji, Natasha Mataji, Pampa Mataji, Sonia Mataji, Supriya Mataji, and Varun. Who's ready to speak? From this first, from group 1. Yes? Quick. Yeah, Supriya Mataji. Just, it's okay, even if you're wrong, whatever you understood, you can just discuss. Just a discussion, no? Can you unmute?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Pampa Mataji wanted to discuss, Mataji. I think
Yeah,
she
very
is.
good. Yeah, Mataji, you can unmute. Pampa Mataji. Hare Krishna. I can't hear her. Hare Krishna. Okay, now I'm going to room number 2 because I'm not.
Mataji, can I speak then?
Yeah.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Here there are 2 things which I've discussed. One is karma and one is akarma. Action in action, like we are the process is like to be in Krishna conscious, we have to perform our actions in a way that the results of the activity or sinful reaction doesn't come to us. This happens when we are inaction in action. This is one of the example, and we can give examples of the sadhus and sannyasis, though they are meditating in the forest, and they are doing the japa of Harinama. Though we look like they are inactive, but still they are active in Krishna consciousness. That is inaction in action. One example, and another example is action in inaction, wherein you are performing some actions. The Gruhastha is the best example for that. He is working for the sense gratification of his family, and this is one of the example for action in inaction. So the best way we have to perform, as mentioned, like Rishikena Rishikeshasya Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. So we have to act in a way that we gratify the senses of Krishna, and in that way we are achieving devotional service. Hare Krishna Mataji. This is what we discussed.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. The first part was fine, inaction in action, but the second part there's a little confusion. Okay, let's clear it. What about room number 4? Kanchan Mataji, Lavanya Mataji, Prafula Mataji, Vilas Prabhu, and I need her. Who's ready? So I told you first, going to breakout room, just decide who's going to speak. At least come to a conclusion who's going to speak. Because if everyone is silent, then what is the use of the breakout room? And I can't unmute everyone now. We don't have time. That's why. Yes, who's ready? From room number 4. Hare Krishna. Yes, Kanchan Mataji.
Mataji, we discussed inaction in action. This means that when the soul is engaged in Bhakti Yoga, that is action in Krishna consciousness, like serving the Lord spiritually, chanting his name, serving is action. But with relation to Lord, that will not accumulate any reaction. A reaction like any type of reaction, good or bad results. So that is performing, that is like inaction in action. So second point is action in action.
It's just opposite. What you're discussing was action in action. There's a little confusion again there. Room number 2, Madhu Mataji, Manasvi, Sahili Mataji, Shubham. What you told is right, Mataji, but it is in respect to the second part. So I think there's a confusion. Wait. What about room number 2? Not getting a clear part. So, room number 2 is, yeah. Jyoti Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Danvat Pranam. Mataji, this inaction in action is that while I am doing my services for sensory gratification of the Lord, I'm not taking myself as a doer. I'm thinking that I'm just an instrument of the Lord. And action in inaction is, again, I am doing it for sense gratification of the Lord, but I'm not desiring for the outcome. I'm serving the Lord, doing a selfless service to the Lord without desiring for any action. All fruits rendered to Krishna, lotus feet of the Lord, and working for the Lord.
And there's a mixture. Working from the Lord is akarma. How do you expect anything from that? When there is karma, they're expecting. And okay, almost close. Yes, room number 3. Only one person speaks from one room. Okay, room number 3. Ankita Mataji, Lakshmi Mataji, Sridhar Prabhu, Rachita Mataji. Who's ready? Room number 3. Room number 3. Dipali Mataji is in room number 1, no? You're from 1 or 3, Mataji?
Hare Krishna Mataji, I was in room number 3. In between, I got
Oh, you were in 3?
notification to join room number 1. So I joined again. Yeah, Mataji. So we have discussed the purport. And what is inaction in action is nishkam karma, means symptoms which are detached, and the workers are not attached to the fruit of the work, and activity, the result of fruit is not expected by the worker. And action in action is Krishna consciousness or a karma, which is the devotional activity for satisfaction of Krishna, like keeping Krishna in the center. And these workers, they know the position as the eternal servitor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Okay. Hare Krishna. So yes. So now let's see. You're doing some activity. Okay. Action means what? There is reaction for it. That's karma. Okay. That's proper karma. So you're doing karma, and then you're not attached to the fruits of the activities. Okay. So then that is, as Mataji said, nishkama karma. So that comes in inaction in action. And as Supreme Mataji also quoted the example, renounced persons, like who, I mean, they do the activities, but then they are attached to the fruits of it. Right? In Krishna consciousness, there is nothing like attached. In Krishna consciousness, everything is done for Krishna's pleasure. Right? So here in inaction in action means what? You're doing the activity, but there's no karma binding you, or there is no reaction for the action which you did. No karma phala. You understood? You're doing the activity. Then you're doing a job. But then you are not attached to the salary. Instead, you are giving away the salary for some good cause. So that you're not attached to it. Then what happens? You're not doing punya either. But then you are doing it as a nishkama karma yoga. Nishkama karma. Okay, the fruits of the activities are given to devotional service. So that is called inaction in action. And second is action in action is what is this? Akarma. So sometimes when you sit and chant, people say, oh, you're not doing anything. So one reporter went and asked Prabhupada, you're not doing anything. You're begging money just like that, sitting, not doing any work. Prabhupada's like, nobody can work like me. I travel all over the world, and then I sleep only 2 hours. So there is akarma, that is, he's doing devotional service. And there is activity. In devotional service means not inertia, just lazy. No, there is a lot of activity. Chanting the holy name, then reading scriptures, and cleaning the temple, cooking for the Lord. There's so many activities, but there is no reactions for it. Again, that is akarma. So inaction in action is nishkama karma yoga. Action in action is Krishna conscious activities. Okay, so that is the 2 parts, the 2 things. So symptoms of a detached worker is nishkama karma. That is, he's doing activity, but there is inaction. There is no reaction for it. That's it. Simple way to understand. He is doing activity, but there is no reaction binding him. So that is called nishkama karma, symptom of a detached worker. And action in action will be Krishna conscious activities. Okay, so I think we can stop here because Okay. Yeah. So others, did you see your mark list? The what do you say? Because some joined late. Did you see the what your how much your marks for the open book assessment? Those who joined late, because in the initial before the beginning of the class, I just shared what are the marks which you got. It's out of 10. Many of them have written very beautiful answers. So in that there'll be like 9 marks. But for them others, like 8 is also good. But those who got 7 need to little more improvement needed. So it's an open book assessment. So all the batch together, but then just trace out your name in the list and see the marks which you got. Okay, it's out of 10. Just see where your name comes. Just see the marks. It's okay, Mataji. You can do the second assignment. Okay. The second assignment you do. Yes, Rachita Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, could you show my marks?
Just see on the screen. I'm just scrolling up and down. Just read your name. Yes, any questions for today's class? Yes, Supriya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Mataji, can you please explain again, like action and inaction is Krishna conscious activity, is what I read. How is it, Mataji?
Yes, actually inaction, because inaction means or akarma. Okay, it's akarma. So you're doing akarma or devotional services, but then there is activity in the devotional service. No, that's action in action. There is activities, but the thing what you're doing is inaction. Inaction in the sense akarma. Here inaction means akarma.
Action and inaction is akarma. You are doing the activity.
That is devotional services. Any devotional services, action in action. That means there is akarma, they're doing inaction, and but there is activity in it.
Okay, well, then inaction in action is?
Inaction in action is you're doing some, yes, nishkama karma. You're doing some activity, but then there is no karma binding.
Oh.
Like that. Yes, Mataji, who is this? Neha Mataji, what's the question? Nirguna Yashoda? Who's that? I don't know. Yes, Hare Krishna Neha Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah, you asking something?
Yeah, Mataji, like action in action, yeah. What is the you are guided right now? What is the example for that?
Action in action. This is devotional services.
Okay.
Any Shravanam, Kirtanam, all that comes under that.
Okay.
Yes, Madhu Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. What is Tivrena Bhakti Yogena Mataji?
Oh, very nice. Tivrena Bhakti Yogena means sincerely and seriously we have to do Bhakti Yoga. That akama sarva kamova moksha kama udariti tivrena Bhakti Yogena yajane purushambara. Like whatever our desire is, if you want moksha, if you have no desire, if you have a lot of desire, tivrena Bhakti Yogena. Tivrena means in so much austerity and so much power, seriousness we need to do Bhakti Yoga, in the sense getting up early in Brahma Muhurta, chanting your 16 rounds and taking Ekadashi, all that will come as Tivrena. Tivrena Bhakti Yoga. No? Yes, Madhu Mataji. Hare Krishna. What's the question?
Done, Mataji. You answered my question. Hare Krishna.
Oh, you have got the question. Yes, Lakshmi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, I have 2 questions, Mataji. Number 1 question is that sometimes does destiny and action go hand in hand?
Destiny and
Action, karma.
yeah.
Karma
So
and destiny go hand in hand, Mataji.
So
They
actually,
do.
destiny means what? Whatever karma we have done in a previous life, it will come as punya and papa. That is actually coming as destiny. You do a lot of punya, then all happiness comes in your life. When you do some papa, the distress will come. So we say it's predestined. It is all destiny. Why? Because it has been done in a previous janma. But the karma, what you do now, if it is done in Krishna conscious way, then the reactions coming is completely taken care. No, because devotional service have so much power that it can take away it can change your destiny. So, and the karma which you do, normal karma means again it will bind you. So instead, if you do a karma, so definitely the destiny will change. We should practice the last one. Why? Because it's devotional service, action in action. Nishkama karma yoga is always very risky. Like you give up the fruits of the activities, the results, it is said so, but then human mind is so crazy, or it is very flickering, no? So sometimes we have some attachment to the results. So action in Krishna conscious activities is the best way. As a grihastha also, if you are a devotee, definitely you're doing even your salary, it's also used in Krishna conscious way only, not for sense gratification. So in that way, that's what a devotee should do. Jyoti Mataji. Manas, somebody has network issue, like Supriya Mataji had a network issue, so please share the attendance form to her so that she can fill. Others, I hope they have filled. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Danvat Pranam. I wanted to ask one thing. How to become strong in our devotion? There's so many distractions in day-to-day life. There's so many hassles. Like speaking about myself, at times I get very angry. And I want to be calm and peaceful, and whatever I face, I want to take it as a blessing of Krishna. Like even if I'm facing a difficult moment, I want to take it as a gift of Krishna, and I want to love him even for that. But I get irritated very easily. I get angry very easily. I find my devotion at a very low level. So what to do that my devotion becomes so strong? Because I believe that if my love for Krishna is true, then he will give me the power to even convert my foes into my friends.
Yes.
But I don't want to give anyone hatred. I want to see Krishna in all. So how to make my devotion that powerful?
So first we should have a lot of patience. Utsaha Nishya Dhairya. It doesn't happen in a day, Mataji, because so much anarthas in us. But the only way is associate with devotees. You associate with devotees almost every day. You have Srila Prabhupada's book. He's a pure devotee. Hear Prabhupada's lecture, read his books. So in that way, you're associating. Second, whenever you feel like you're getting angry or something, chant Hare Krishna or just move away from that place. Hear a nice kirtan. Try to distract your mind. Slowly. Initially, it's not possible to just like that control, but slowly, don't react. You know, the best way when you're angry is to do is not to speak. Now, all of you agree? If we speak when we are angry, we speak so many other things, and the opposite person get agitated. He speaks the third thing, which I realized is, when we are angry, we say whatever comes to our mind. We don't even think, we just say. And the other person gets agitated, and he says, and he says, and it becomes a big argument. But instead, you cut the conversation. Just move away from that place, maybe chant or to hear some kirtan, or just try to distract your mind. Initially, it is difficult to tolerate, but then you avoid such a situation, okay? And increase your chanting. I mean, nice quality japa. Then associate with devotees. Take nice Krishna prasad so that consciousness is also very calm down. Just be careful what you eat, Mataji. When you eat food of Rajoguna, then what happens? So much of agitation and anger and everything comes in us. But you eat nice sattvic food offered to Krishna, our mind also becomes stable. But it takes a lot of time. It's all anartha nivritti is getting cleared. But then have a lot of faith in Krishna's process. Definitely it will work. And if you hear Srimad Bhagavatam, how different devotees have undergone different problems in life, then we understand, oh, Krishna comes and saves you. Your faith increases. So the more and more you do devotional service, you'll come to that level. But initially,
in a Bhakti Shastri form, we have to feel that, have you heard Srimad Bhagavatam lecture? So I skip all the lectures in all the days. What if I take to reading of the lectures? If I can't hear it, what if I take to reading of the lectures daily?
Yeah, so either you attend Srimad Bhagavatam or you read yourself. That's also okay. Or there's a 5:45 a.m. small short class. in the temple link every day, short Bhagavatam class, or else you attend 8:30 a.m., 8 a.m. Bhagavatam class. Or see the recordings if possible. Or read is also okay. Huh? Yes, Lakshmi Mataji.
Mataji, sometimes I get demotivated in reading the scriptures or something like that. So what do we do in keeping ourselves
Demotivated in?
Reading the scriptures. While while reading the scriptures, we get demotivated.
Have a habit actually, like every day you're chanting your rounds. Along with that, I will read scriptures every day. Now have that desire to do it and start reading. Then slowly it happens. It will take some time to get to that habit of reading, but don't worry, it will come. Don't get demotivated. Every day try to read. If you can't read, then at least have a group like Bhakti group where you can read. Prafulla Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. I feel myself, it is very easy to think that anartha nivruti, but it becomes tough when we face the practical situation that Rajaguna and Tamaguna get over, Mataji. It's true.
Yeah.
How to get rid of it?
Yeah, so all of us have all that, Mataji. Like everyone, nobody is like pure. We all have anarthas. We all are associating with Rajagun, Tamagun. Everything is there. But that's what I told. Like more you do devotion service, the more it comes. Like you will only realize. Like sometimes you feel angry and then you speak something, and then sometimes like I'm chanting Hare Krishna, still why these anarthas are not going away from you. Then slowly you try to avoid such association, Mataji. When we associate with Rajaguna people, we also become like that.
How can we serve Vaishnava, Mataji?
Huh?
How can we serve Vaishnava?
How can
we serve
the Vaishnavas? Yeah, so serving Vaishnava means Srila Prabhupada you can serve by reading his books and preaching and his mission of book distribution. All these are serving Prabhupada. Then serving other Vaishnavas, if you have some Vaishnavas nearby home, they can, if they come to temple, then you can give them prasad, accept prasad, give them gifts. Now you can serve them in that way. You can help someone who is struggling in devotional service. So serving Vaishnavas can be done. Yes, that also helps. Okay.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, Madhu Mataji, I'll be updating the playlist soon so that we can get all the recordings. Yes, Rajayata Mataji, Hare Krishna. You have any question?
Mataji, tomorrow is Ekadashi.
Ekadashi, yeah, tomorrow.
So I won't be able to join the Sadachar class.
Yeah, no problem.
The youth batch, so I won't be able to join. So please excuse me for that day.
Yeah. And tomorrow 8 a.m. Bhagavatam class, everyone please come. Tomorrow is a special guest lecture by His Holiness Bhakti Vinoda Swami Maharaj. He is a disciple of Jayapataka Swami Guru Maharaj, and we have served him as a secretary for a long time. And he is a great preacher. You listen to tomorrow's lecture. All of you, please come in the temple link. I shared it in the group, I think. No, Manasi? Did I share it?
What, Mataji?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Yeah.
Yes, Mataji. Sorry, I got an emergency call.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Mataji, yes. I have a doubt, Mataji. I'm not able to rectify myself. You said action in inaction is Nishkama and action in inaction is Krishna consciousness. But we are expected to work in action in Krishna conscious way. But Mataji, my understanding is like once you start working as a Nishkama Karma Yogi, when you are leaving the results behind, totally your Chitta will get sanctified, and later you will slowly work in Krishna conscious way. Isn't it? Yeah. It's a mid step.
Yes. See, that's the next stage, Mataji. Nishkama Karma Yoga and Krishna consciousness is like 9th standard and 10th standard. It's almost close. Yeah. Like you're growing. You're growing towards, see, Nishkama, first you become Karmakandi, like perfect Karmi. That's how we are aware, no? Yeah. Just work and enjoying the fruits. Then slowly we become Sakama, like you start enjoying, but then not so attached. Then Nishkama. That's the next stage, Mataji. Immediately after Nishkama, it's Krishna consciousness.
So,
Because as a Grihastha, what are we doing? We have a job, we have our money, and then we slowly use for devotional service. We're not so attached. When you got your salary, how you were, the first salary in your life, you were so attached. But as you start working, then the salary becomes secondary for you. But then when you come to Krishna consciousness, then it's completely different. So it's a near margin, Mataji. Yes, you're right.
I understand, Mataji. Like the final destination is to work in action in inaction. To begin with, we can work with inaction in action.
Yes, definitely. Because nobody can jump to Krishna consciousness directly, right? Might be someone like Shuchinam Srimadam gave someone who have done Krishna consciousness in previous life, directly they can go. But people like us, yes, slowly you go do Nishkama Karma, then you become a detachment, because the byproducts of Bhakti is Virakti and Jnana, no? Jnana and Vairagya. So you get knowledge, then you become detached. Then, so both are right, Nishkama Karma Yoga and Krishna consciousness, based on your ashrama. Like somebody like a brahmachari can be completely in Krishna consciousness. But a grihastha has so many other things to do, so it can be a Nishkama Karma. Nishkama Karma is also good. Slowly, but we should go to akarma. Instead of Nishkama Karma, there is a chance we can go to Karma Kandi also. Means you can get attached also, and Maya is very strong. But unless you have devotee association, we have a chance to go back. But if you have really good devotee association, then yes, we go to
clear, Mataji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
What is bliss? Bliss means Satchidananda. Ananda means transcendental happiness is called bliss. Okay, like Krishna is transcendental happiness. So like that. Okay, so tomorrow please come for the 8 a.m. class, and so that you take darshana of Maharaj. Like when great devotees come, if you just go at least a moment association, Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha service, you just hear a little from Maharaj, at least 5-10 minutes. If you don't have much time, just come and go, because Sadhu Sangha is very important for us. They are pure devotees, and just by associating with them, even online, have a lot of effect. Okay, because their sadhana is so strong, and you get that blessings when you listen to them. So try to come 8 a.m. class. Okay, so after the 4th chapter, we put the second assignment, open book assessment. Those who could not do the first one, please do the second. And Manasi, please open the WhatsApp group so that they can put, if they are interested in the counseling service. Okay, like a mentor.
Yes, Mataji, I am doing that.
They can put their name and the number. So which sloka are you teaching today?